Hey guys, what's going on? Trainer Audie here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking a look at ReZero Season 2 Episode 5. There's actually not a lot of info for me to go over today. It's like 1/4 of last week's episode, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into ReZero Season 2 Episode 5. Start off the episode with Subaru talking to the Witch of Greed, and the Witch of Greed tells him how the whole thing is fabricated from his memories, and apparently very faithful to his memories. So right before the trial ends for Subaru, we get him thanking the Witch of Greed, and he thanks him for letting him confess and tell everything he's wanted to say to his parents since he wasn't able to before being summoned to Lagunica. Right after the end of the trial for Subaru, he wakes up back in the sanctuary and he sees Amelia. Now Amelia is also going through her own trial, but she's very frightened, and you could tell from watching the episode that she was very scared. And she also calls out for her dad, which we don't really get a lot in season 1. Now, I haven't seen the OVA Memory Snow, which is the whole, backstory to Amelia, so there could be some stuff related to this part that I'm not getting, like her calling out to her father, but yeah. Now, the next quote-unquote important part I want to point out in this episode was the small Subaru and Amelia moments when, Amelia woke up, and I found this very sweet. I was very surprised when she did that, as well as Subaru. So I think Subaru and Amelia is gonna happen at some point, yo. If you're just anime watchers, but if you're light novel watchers and there's a change to that, let me know. So later on, Amelia attempts the trial again, and only to come out unsuccessful and very frightened once again. And then later on, Roswaal calls Subaru into his room where he's resting at. Then he finally reveals to Subaru and us as viewers that he was behind, or what from I got from his words was that he was the one that's not led the attacks, but cultivated it, meaning he was the one that allowed the witch's call to attack. Now here, I could see the reasoning behind Roswaal's decisions, because he also says how he did it because now Amelia is seen as a savior. Subaru stood up for everyone to help everyone out since Roswaal wasn't there. But at the same time, the fact that he would go so far as to get the witch's cult remind you that these were the people that destroyed Rom and Rem's village, and all the demon race he would let them attack all the villagers and Amelia and Rom. To note, even Subaru points out the bad parts behind this, because he went through so much just to save everyone, and at the same time, when he came out successful, not everyone survived. Then at the end of the episode, Subaru is heading back to the mansion, and Amelia is staying behind to see if she can keep doing the trial and hopefully overcome it. And then when we get back to the mansion, I was already expecting it. There was no one home at the mansion. Subaru walks in, and he doesn't see the monster maid and Petra. So obviously something's up, and obviously he calls out Rem, and this is when we get the start of Subaru's 4th loop. And the one to cut him down is the one from the first arc of ReZero, Elsa, the Bowel Hunter, I think is her name, her nickname. So yeah, this series... Obviously, the series shouldn't go on without giving Subaru a death, but honestly, it was the first 4 episodes without Subaru dying, besides the one in the beginning. They were a good watch, especially episode 4. Anyways, guys, that is it for ReZero Season 2, Episode 5. That is all that I really have to talk about in this episode. There wasn't really a lot in this episode. I felt like this was more of a lot of setup for the next loop for Subaru. And also, we get an introduction to Amelia's trial and how that's going to turn out. I hope we get more on that and what she's going through, because obviously she's very terrified, and more terrified than Subaru, of her past. So obviously it's more traumatizing. Oh, that's subjective. It's very traumatizing to her because, you know, she's a half elf and everything, and she's always like talked about and how she's like quote unquote related to the Witch of Envy. So obviously there's some weight there already, but now since she's having to go through the trials, facing her past, there's a lot more for her to overcome. But yeah, anyways, guys, I love you all, and I'll see you in my next video.